I'd like to call to order the Planning Commission meeting of Wednesday, April 5th, 2017. And if you'll stand and follow me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Excuse me, Pamela. Go ahead. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Eggleston?
Here.
Commissioner Brown?
Here.
Commissioner Crandall?
Here.
Commissioner Wu?
Here.
Commissioner Smith?
Here.
And Blackwell and Talley are absent tonight.
Yes. There are no special orders of business tonight, and with that, I'll entertain a motion or comments on the minutes from the Planning Commission meeting of March 8th.
I have a comment on page 3, first line. Reads Vice Chair Crandall, as attended from Commissioner Wu and Chair Pro Tem. I was not part of it, so the word Commissioner Wu and should be deleted.
Okay.
I did not miss the February 8th meeting anyway.
I'm sorry, page 3,
First line,
first line.
delete the words Commissioner Wu and.
He wants that deleted. What's your purpose, sir? Because
Who
you,
was the other person that had watched the video and then was able to, there were 2 people, and they were the 2 people that had missed the meeting before.
Not me, I attended that meeting.
The one on
February 8th.
February, the one in February.
I missed both meetings, so
There were 2 of them. I was just wondering if you could remember who the other person was. That missed the February 8th meeting. Were you here for the February 8th?
I attended the February 8th meeting.
You did, okay.
So Eileen, I can go back and look at that and get that
Okay.
information.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. I just remember there being 2 that said.
I agree, there was two.
Should we wait on those meetings then, the minutes?
On
and
approval?
Approve them after you do that research?
I think that you can approve them with direction to Amber to
okay.
research and prove the correct name.
All right, we'll do that.
Great.
Thank you.
That'll have a motion to approve, subject to.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of the City of San Antonio County Commission March the 8th, 2017, with the changes as noted.
And a direction to the city planner, interim city planner, to find the proper person that was absent at that meeting. I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
And I will abstain, so it passes 4-3-4-0-1. With Commissioner Brown abstaining since I was absent. Okay, oral and written communication. Members of the audience may address the commission on matters of public interest which pertain to the city and are not otherwise on our agenda this evening. If you wish to speak, please step forward to the microphone, state your name and city of residence, and make your presentation. Please limit your presentation to 3 minutes. Do we have any cards, Madam Secretary? No?
No, sir.
So with that, we have nothing on our consent calendar, and we'll move to item 8, public hearings. The public hearing process includes a staff presentation, a presentation by the applicant not to exceed 10 minutes, and public testimony
30 seconds.
to facilitate the meeting for all attendees. The public is asked to limit their individual presentation to 3 minutes. And following closure of the public hearing, the Planning Commission will respond to questions raised during the hearing, discuss issues, and act upon the matter by motion. And item 8A is 940 Caliamancer, Unit K, conditional use permit 17036, Drift Distillery Tasting Room. And here we
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm filling in for Kurt Corey, contract planner. This is a request to construct a 533 square foot tasting room at a new distillery at 940 Caliamancer. Drift Distillery is a new light manufacturing use. They distill craft spirits, and their location is in the business park at this area here. In particular, they're occupying this suite K. It's 1,585 square feet. Drift Distillery manufactures whiskey, vodka, gin, and rum. This is the floor plan of Drift Distillery. As you can see, the tasting room is ancillary to the main manufacturing of the alcohol. There are 16 seats total. As I had mentioned, the tastings are ancillary to the distillery operations. No amplified sound or live entertainment are proposed with this request. All parking requirements are met. The Type 74 license limits tastings to 1.5 ounces per customer per day, and also allows for bottle sales directly to customers. They are allowed to sell up to 3 750 milliliter bottles per person per day. The hours of operation are similar to other type of uses that have tastings. In the business park area, we have Artifacts, Lost Winds, and Left Coast. And I highlighted in bold their ending hours of operation. You can see Artifacts ends at 9 o'clock. Lost Winds ends at 11 p.m. or 1 a.m. on the weekends. Left Coast ends at 8 p.m. or 10 p.m. And Drift Distillery will terminate their operations much earlier at 7 p.m. Staff is recommending approval of the project with the proposed conditions, and staff as well as the applicant are available to respond to any questions or comments that you have.
Do we have
Thank
any
you.
questions of staff at this time? Okay, Commissioner Smith.
The 3 questions. The Rancho San Clemente Business Park, they must have an association of some kind. I'm assuming that they do, and if they do, are they okay with this project?
I would have to double check to make sure that they indeed received a public notice. I don't believe that we specifically notified them, but they would have likely received a notice because they have common area within 300 feet of this property.
That's interesting. You're not sure, though, huh? There are, as you pointed out, some other breweries here already. Did they all get their business going with CUPs, conditional use permits, as well?
That's correct.
All right. And then my last question. There's some discussion in the conditions, and it talks about whether or not that business, when that business might go out of business, that there, in my mind, there's a question of whether or not a new business could come in and benefit from the conditional use permit to have alcohol. Would they be grandfathered in then?
They could, as long as they get their applications in within 90 days.
My questions, thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Wu.
I only have one question. When we have multiple tasting places close by, they're indicating a person can go into one place, have 1.5 ounces, and then walk to another place and continue to have that consumption and got drunk. Do we have any spacing requirement for these places?
Currently in our ordinance, we do not have any spacing separation requirements for these type of uses.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
I have a question. Based on these hours of operation, in the staff report, you say for Drift Distillery, the weekends will be by appointment only in the staff report?
That's what the applicant has indicated to us.
Okay.
However, with the conditions of approval, we did provide flexibility, so that way if they change their
Okay, that's
their
why
operations later on.
Condition number 3, it doesn't mention appointment only. You just say they could use weekends from the hours of 12 to 7. Is that right?
Correct,
You
yes.
deliberately did not specifically say appointment only in the actual CUP itself.
Yes, so right now, they plan to operate with weekends by appointment only, but we did craft the conditions of approval to allow for them to change their operation so they can operate without appointment.
Okay, so
on
staff is
Saturdays.
recommending that flexibility in CUP, in the
Yeah.
actual condition number 3. Okay.
Correct.
Yeah, and I think to Commissioner Wu, if you look at there's two right close to each other, Artifacts and Drift, but the other two are quite a distance away, looking at the map, too. Are there any other questions of staff? Would the applicant like to have any questions or come forward to make any statements or illuminate anything?
Sure. My name's Ryan, and I've been working on this for a couple years now. Invested a lot of money and spent a lot of time with the TTB and doing background checks, and it's a long process to do that. Before you go through that, you have to lease a space, and then you go through the process, so that takes 10 months before you're allowed to get your distilling license. We were the first in Orange County to apply with the ABC. There is another distillery that just opened in Santa Ana. We are definitely not looking to open a bar. You cannot self-distribute like a wine or beer or brewery. They can go to the restaurants and bars, drop off all they can. I have to go through a distributor, Young's Market, Southern Wines and Spirits. So our goal is definitely more production than tasting, but the new law that was passed this year allows us to sell 3 bottles, which is good for us, and allow someone to come in and try craft spirits. So that's, I guess, what I got. Any questions from you guys?
Questions of the applicant?
Yeah, what are you cooking over there? What's your
So,
what's your moonshine? What
well,
you doing there?
so we're going to be making, so my family's from Kansas. So I have all my family wheat's coming from Kansas from my parents. And we're making wheat whiskey. We'll make a vodka from wheat. And we'll make gin. And then we'll do a rum. But rum's made with sugar cane or molasses, so we're going to be experimenting with that. But we'll probably do bourbon out of corn-based mash and, have fun with different flavors. So.
Okay, so I got a question about that. Are you going to end up with some cask storage with the stuff aging?
We will, but since we're not a very big production facility, it's going to take a while to get there. We will have to find storage probably off-site, or the next, when I've already talked to the landlord, if another space comes available next to mine, I'll be able to store barrels there. And, that'll have to be a bonded area, and I'll have to go through all the requirements for that with the TTV.
Okay. I know with this type 74 license, you're limited to a 1.5 ounce serving type thing. How are you going to control the servings to these people?
We have pour spouts that will measure. So you can get quarter ounce, you can get half ounce, you can get 3/4 ounce. We will probably do signature cocktails that we know what we're going to do. So we'll use a lot of social media. We'll say, hey, these are the two 3/4 ounce drinks you can get today, or you can try a flight. So each customer that comes in, it's not a very big place, and it's my wife and I, so we will know exactly what we're pouring and giving people. It's definitely, we don't want to operate a bar. I like to go to bed early, and so.
Well, you don't want the ABC people to come in and just check you out either. So.
Well, no, yeah, and I spent a lot of time and money, and I wouldn't want to lose that license.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions to the applicant? Okay, for that, we'll open the public hearing. Is there anybody from the public who wishes to comment on this? We have no cards. I'll close the public hearing, and we'll enter into discussion or a motion. Mr. Smith, your light's on. You have...
If there's no discussion, I'd like to make a motion.
Proceed.
I'd like to move that we approve resolution number PC 17-009, a resolution of the Planning Commission of the City of San Clemente, California, approving conditional use permit 17-036, Drift Distillery, to allow for 533 square foot tasting room with on-site sale and consumption of alcohol associated with distillery for property located at 940 Calle Menser, Suite K, and with the conditions of approval.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Smith, second by Commissioner Wu. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Passes 5-0. Congratulations. Okay. There is no new business on our schedule tonight, or old business. With that, we might have a brief discussion on any tentative future agenda. I think next time we have a thing from Victoria on the schedule, and a reintroduction of conditional, or a coastal heritage permit, or now a site plan, I guess, for the historic property on Algodone, I believe, comes back to us.
That's correct. There was an error in their survey, so that's why that one will be coming back.
Apparently, they're now non-conforming because of setbacks. They got a
Yes.
tighter survey. I think there's one other item on the schedule, I believe.
I believe so. We have, and there's also a study session to go over updates on the latest adopted building code that we thought would be
Okay.
beneficial.
Okay, 2016 special. Everybody was rushing to get in before the 31st of December on? Okay.
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
yes.
Are there any other discussions, reports? Anything from the zoning administrator to enlighten us with? We're all okay there? Okay. With that,
I'll make a motion to adjourn, that we adjourn to the regular Planning Commission meeting to be held at 7 p.m. on April 19th in City Council Chambers at City Hall, located at 100 Avenida Presidio, San Clemente, California.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Passes 5-0. 17 minutes?